Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. One of the biggest phrases I hear from moms is that they feel like a failure. I feel like I'm failing at this motherhood thing. I feel like I'm failing keeping up with my house, keeping up with cooking, being the mom that I want to be for my kids, being the mom that my kids deserve, feeling like a failure as a wife. I feel like I cannot do anything right. I mess up and fall behind constantly. I'm just not the person that I want to be. I'm not living to my fullest potential. I hear that really often. And I want to let you know that if you feel that way, you are not alone. That is very common, and it happens to a lot of moms. And you can change. You can shift out of it. I still have my moments here and there where I feel like a failure, but I'm able to shift out of that by shifting my perspective. But there was a season in my life where I felt like a failure in many areas of my life because I wasn't being the mom that I wanted to be for my kids. Because I was the mom that felt really reactive from the moment my kids woke up to the moment I put them down. I just was at a level like 7 to 8 out of 10, at 10 being my my max capacity. I would just go through the day at a level 7, 8. And I didn't have much wiggle room to get to a 10. And so I want to let you know, if you are in that place, I've been there. And I know what it's like to feel like a failure as a mom and even as a wife, feeling like you're just not doing good enough. And not necessarily that anyone is telling you that, It's just your own mind believing that and thinking those things. I want you to know that God did not make a mistake when He gave you your children. Your children are a gift from the Lord. He chose you out of all the women in the world to be your children's mom. That was intentional. And He did that because He knew that you would be the best person for that job. Now, if you're struggling, there's something that can be done about it. There's a difference between, hey, I'm struggling and I need help, and I'm going to do what I need to do to support myself and get out of this, and I'm struggling. Well, this is just the way things are, and I guess this is how we're going to go through life. It's your mindset that's keeping you there, and we'll touch on that a little bit deeper in the podcast episode. So if you resonate with this, welcome to this episode 236 of Emotionally Healthy Legacy. So if you're in that place, I want to let you know that there's hope for you. You can change. God can do miracles in your life. There's things that you can take ownership for, and there's things that only God can do. I want to share with you a story of me when I first got on this journey. I was in a hard place mentally as a mom. I felt like I was failing a lot, and I felt like I was in a very reactive state throughout my days with my kids. I would wake up when my kids would wake up at the last minute, just feel kind of groggy, not productive, and just kind of just like reacting to my days. And I really did not like how that felt. And that was my reality at that time. A friend of mine shared with me this podcast that of another mom, which it was the first time of me ever listening to podcasts. And this was 6 years ago. And I just kind of listened to it, and then I stopped because I wasn't really in a place to like want to do anything about it. And then it was like winter time, around this time of the year, that I really kind of came back to that podcast, and I started listening to a lot more. And a lot of it was on decluttering and decluttering your home, which was really helpful for me because I was able to implement a lot of things, and I decluttered my house quite a bit, that I was able to have so much more just emotional capacity, just because things weren't as like stressful in the house and the physical environment. And then that influencer, she was selling a course she had a course for the house. It was called Your Uncluttered Home. And then she also had a course for like life in motherhood, and it was called Unburdened. And it was the first time I actually thought of buying a course. First of all, I didn't even know courses existed. And that was even a thing. But I started to kind of lean more into it. I'm like, wow, I'm listening to her podcast. I'm getting so much value from her free content. I am confident her course is so much more. Like, there's so much more value in that because it was a step-by-step process. And it was to the mom that felt reactive to her days, to the mom that felt like she is living in the mundane, to the mom that felt like she just kind of lost her purpose, and she's just kind of feeling like, I'm just doing the things that I have to do, not having anything to look forward to, just not really enjoying motherhood and life, and just feeling like she has no good routine, no good structure in the day, just reactive. And I really resonated with that because that really related to where I was. I remember I went to my husband and I said, hey, this course is on sale and it's this much. It was $99 at that time because it was a self-paced course. You buy it and you do it on your own at your own pace. There's no like coaching, accountability, and support that I offer in my coaching program. But I'm the type of person that I'm pretty consistent when I want to be. When something really like inspires me, I can like stay on track and do the thing. And anyways, my husband's like, we don't have the money for it. That was the first response. And I felt really, really upset by that because I felt like I contribute a lot to this family and we find money for other things. And I really wanted to have money to enroll in this course. And my husband said, well, if you can come up with the money, then you can buy the course. And I thought about like, how can I get really resourceful? because it's not that we don't have the money. I mean, we were financially in a tight place then, but it was more like, how can I come up with the money? Because this is really important to me and I can see the value in this, and this is going to change my life. And it truly did. That course did change my life. And I did come up with the money. I was able to sell some things and I was able to take that cash, put it on the account, and buy that course at the last minute before the cart closed and the discount, went away. And honestly, because I paid money, I was invested in the work. For me at that time, $99 was a lot of money. It really was for me at that time in the season in my life that I was in. So when I bought that course, I was like, you know what? Like, it really motivated me and kicked me in the butt to really want to do the work. And I did. I started to listen to the trainings and I download the PDF reflection question. And it was so inspiring and motivating for me that I started to implement changes and start making shifts in my life. Asking myself, how does this apply to my life? Recognizing, where do I need to make changes? What is not serving me? What can I do differently? And honestly, that program truly did change my life. I started to implement healthy habits that were really supportive to my mental and emotional and physical well-being. I started to have so much more emotional capacity for my children. I started to work on my mindset a lot, like what I think and how that affects my feelings and that affects my actions. So there's your beliefs, what you believe about, let's say, your children. Then it's what you think about your children. Then it is what you feel about your children. And then it's the actions that you take and the results that you get. So you have to go back to your beliefs and your thoughts and shift that if you want to get different results. I had no idea about any of this stuff. This was all brand new information for me, but because I was invested in this course, and that money was a lot of money for me at that time, I was really invested in doing the work. What I did is I ended up having a really good solid morning routine. My kids went to sleep early. I was able to go to bed at a reasonable time. My kids got up at 7, so I had time if I got up early in the morning, which I did. And I had a good morning routine. And then in that morning routine, I started to go through the coursework and implement like the things that I was learning and do the reflection question. And oh my goodness, did I see a change in the way that I was showing up as a mom. I felt like I was a completely different person in a positive way. Obviously, I've grown so much more from that. I just want to let you know that it truly shifted me massively. There was also like a Facebook support group that we were in with other moms. And I think there was maybe like live classes for like 4 weeks or something like that. But it was just something that really gave me the kick in the pants to show up for myself, not even for my kids, but for myself, to invest in me, to be a better mom for them so I can feel better about myself as a mom as the way that I'm showing it. I want to let you know, if you are struggling, if you feel like you're drowning, if you feel like you are constantly reactive, if you're feeling like you're angry, that you're a different person at home than you are in public, that maybe your husband says, listen, I don't know who you are now, but this is not the person that I married. Maybe your kids are afraid of you. They don't want to be around you because you're constantly yelling, screaming. Maybe your relationships are ruined with your kids. I want to help you. I have a proven step-by-step process that I have developed for moms that have been working with me, specifically Christian moms that struggle with out-of-control anger. If your anger is destroying your relationships with the people that you love the most, if your kids are starting to mimic your anger and say destructive things and do hurtful things, and you're doing hurtful things to them, my friend, you get to change that legacy. You can make a change. That is in your control. If this is something you want help with, I can help you. The next step would be to book a consultation call with me. If you scroll down in the show notes, that is the next option, is to book a consultation call with me. I realized that there are two types of moms. There's moms that are reactive, and then there's moms that are proactive. There's moms that just like well, this is the way that it is. This is my life. I don't know. Like, I remember going to a friend's house and she has 3 boys and there were so many toys and so much clutter. I personally felt overwhelmed being in her house. And I suggested to her, I'm like, you can actually like get rid of some of the toys that they don't play with. I'm sure there's toys that they don't play with. And she's like, well, they do play with it sometimes. And then she would complain about how messy her house is. And it's just the way that it is. It's just the season that it is. I have young kids and my house is not cluttered. It's not messy. I keep the toys that my kids play with. And there's a difference between a person like in their mentality versus, you know what? I don't like the way things are going right now, and I will make changes and focus on what's in my control to make the changes. The proactive moms, they work on themselves to become a better version of themselves for their family, for themselves and for their family. They take ownership of what is theirs to change. So in order for you to do that, you need to work on yourself, and that is called personal development. You get to reflect on what you're doing is not working. You get to make a change. You get to make a plan, things that I'm going to do differently. You write things down on paper, make the changes. You work on your mindset, shifting your thoughts. So there's supportive thoughts. If you're saying, oh, I'm just a failure, does that help you succeed and show up as the mom that you want to be? Does that help you feel accomplished, productive, be efficient, be disciplined, and show up in that way? Absolutely not. Your thoughts really affect the way that you show up. If you pour into yourself as a mom, no one suffers from it. Nobody. Everyone in your family benefits from this work. If you start working on your mindset, if you start working on your emotional wellness as a mom and your mental wellness and your physical wellness, who is going to suffer from it? Nobody. If anything, everyone benefits. Your spouse benefits, you benefit, your kids, the legacy that you leave, the relationships that you have with your kids, everyone benefits when you do this work and you work on yourself. The fact that you have a thought in your mind, I am a failure, that is, first of all, a thought from the enemy that you're a failure. He wants you to believe that, and he wants you to stay stuck and stay in your ways. He doesn't want you to change. I want you to understand that if you really, really hate the way that things are right now, you need to really, really hate. There's that phrase from Dave Ramsey, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you get to that point, that's when you're willing to make changes and do something about it. If you're in a place where you're like, I hate the way that I show up as a mom, that this sucks so bad, that doing the uncomfortable work, working on myself, devoting time and energy and money and whatever it takes is less uncomfortable than staying stuck where I'm at right. If this is where you are, I can help you. The women that join my coaching program, the women that I accept into my coaching program are the moms that are really ready to do the work. The moms that are really in a place where they're like, I hate the way that I show up for my family, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do the work to show up for myself so I can show up for them. This is the type of work I do with you. We do a lot of reflection. I teach you in shifting your mindset. There's a lot of practical application. Okay, the Bible tells us to take our thoughts captive. Changes start when you decide in your mind that you're going to make changes. You can choose to decide today. You have that power. That is in your control. It's your God-given power. I get to decide that no more. I'm not going to be a hot mess mom anymore. I'm not going to feel like a failure anymore. I'm going to take ownership of my life and take responsibility of my choices. What I think, what I say, what I do, the actions, the behaviors that I take full responsibility because I cannot control other people. I can only control myself. If my child is disrespecting me, I can handle the way that I respond in a way that aligns with who I want to be and how I want to show up. That I can reflect and look back at it and be like, you know what? Even though my son said XYZ, I'm glad this is the way that I responded. Here's a really funny, not funny, but a wonderful example. This happened this week. So about a month ago, or maybe a couple months ago, we got a new couches for our living room. They are cream color and they're just like a soft material. They are not leather. And I know when I was getting them, I knew that my kids are going to get them dirty at some point. I know that. I have 4 kids, 3 boys and a toddler girl. I know. I just really like the way that it looks. Like it just brightens the room. It's a sectional and it's cream and it's beautiful. And I just really, really like it. And so we got this couch and I came out of the kitchen the other day and I come up to the couch and I see my daughter sitting in a corner and she has a marker, a highlighter, and she is drawing on the couch. And what would you do when your kids did that? How would you handle it? How would you respond or react to it? Reaction is a negative. Reaction response is a positive intentional response. How would you handle it? So my response was, Ellie, what did you do? You drew on the couch. You really wanted to draw. Where do we draw? With a marker, she says on paper. I said, you drew on the couch. I feel really upset. Mommy feels angry. You drew on the couch. I feel mad. Because I did. I felt upset. And she just kind of like lowered her eyes. And I said, Nellie, I need you to go to your room right now because I feel really upset. And she did go to her room for a little bit. And I walked away and I reminded myself, this is just a physical item. It was my choice. And this is where I take ownership. It was my choice and my decision to buy a couch that is light colored, that is cream, knowing that I have 4 kids and a toddler that will probably, do something. That was my choice. That was on me. I took ownership of that. It was my responsibility. I was the one that did not put the marker away. I sat laying on the kitchen counter and I didn't put it away. That is something I can take ownership of it. Yes, my daughter did drew on the couch. And what role did I play in this? I cannot just blame, complain, and justify my screaming, yelling. Well, she didn't listen to me. She should know better. She's a 3-year-old. Have you ever been to anybody's house that has a 3-year-old? That's like truly, honestly, can be like, I shared the story today at BSF. And like, I had 3 moms that are like, oh my goodness, I have toddlers right now. They have done that too. And pretty much any mom that has a toddler can relate. That they draw on the walls, that they draw on the couch, they draw on the pillows, they draw somewhere where they're not supposed to. That's just what kids do. And having the perspective, this is normal for a 3-year-old. This is my chance to teach. This is my chance to respond in a way that I am proud of. Like, I did not scream at her. I did not yell at her. I told her I felt really upset, which I was. She should know that this is not okay, and I do feel upset about it. I did not call her names. I did not spank her. I did not say anything unkind. When I said I was proud of the way that I handled it because it's aligned with who I want to be as a mom. So I want to ask you, are your actions and behaviors, are they aligned with who you want to be? Like at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, do you want your kids to, when like your kids grow up, how do you want them to know you for? When they can think back at their childhood and they could say, you know what, my mom always said blank. My mom always did blank. I felt blank around my mom. You get to change that. You get to decide today that no more. I'm not going to be stuck in this failure mode, playing a victim. Well, this is the way things are. No, I'm going to realize what I have responsibility for. I'm going to sit down, write out things that are in my control and start working one thing at a time. What is something I can do today to make positive changes in my life? What is that one thing that you can do? Instead of finding excuses well, this is not going to work for me in this season. This is not going to work for me in this season. How can I adapt so this can serve me in this season in life? Again, your mindset, your mentality. There's a phrase by a very known influencer. I can't think of her name. Robin something maybe. And so this is not from me. I've seen this oh man, it was a couple of years ago. It was like a popular reel or something like that with a voiceover. And it said, no one's coming. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to get you out of bed, get you to work out, to get you to cook healthy meals or cook healthy meals for you or work on your mindset. You need to do that work. No one's coming to get you. It's not going to miraculously just change overnight and all of a sudden you're a positive, uplifting, encouraging mom that doesn't react. It does not happen overnight. It takes intentionality. No one gets somewhere by accident. You intentionally set these positive goals, what kind of mom you want to be, and you take intentional actions. And this is the kind of work I do with you in my coaching program. If this really resonates with you and you are ready to do the work, my friend, you can make these changes with Christ. With Christ, you can do hard things. There's only so much you can do on your own power, and then you need Jesus. You can physically work out, and you can only get so far until you run out of your capacity and you need support from the Lord. Most of that comes emotionally, hard things, mentally and emotionally, where we really need help from the Lord and we need His strength to keep going because we can only do so much. And in this program, we invite God into the process. We don't try to do everything on our own strength. This is where we invite God to walk alongside us. I pray over you at the end of every coaching session. I pray over you throughout the week. I check in with you regularly through Boxer. We have weekly group coaching calls. You also get 3 individual one-on-one calls with me. I'm in your back pocket. When you are having a hard day, you reach out to me personally and I respond with you and I connect with you. Right now, it is November, at the end of November, November 20th, as I am recording and airing this episode. The price of the program is going to go up in January. So if this is something that is resonating with you and you want to take action and you want to make changes, this is your chance. What is the one thing that you can do today to start making positive changes in your life? Maybe it is saying yes to yourself, because investing in you is the best thing you can do for your kids. You are their biggest influence. You make the most impact on your children. And maybe this year you get very little Christmas gifts for your kids. You're very minimal and you use that money instead to invest in yourself. I offer 6 months and 12-month no interest payment plan that are on my checkout page. You're able to do that. Also, you are such an amazing person. You're such an amazing mom for your kids. And having a mom that is struggling emotionally and reacts constantly affects the children a lot. And this is not to shame you. This is not to put you down. This is to encourage you that you need to do something about this. If you're constantly listening to this podcast, and if just listening to this show is enough for you to make positive changes, I am so thankful that that is it. Because there are times where I listen to podcasters and listening to their podcasts is all that I need to make those changes in my life. I don't necessarily need to invest in their coaching program. And if that's you, I'm so thrilled and so happy for you. And there's also some of you that are listening to this podcast right now. You're drowning. You're struggling so bad. You need that hand holding. You need that person that will be there with you step by step. Give you the next thing that you need to do. Somebody that will check in with you Monday through Friday, see how you're doing, how to pray for you, that will give you guidance and help you shift your perspective. Some of you need that, and that's where I come in. My course is not passive. Yes, there's recorded trainings that you watch, and there's live coaching calls. And I walk alongside you as this course goes on. I don't want you to do this work on your own, because studies have shown that only 2% of the people that do take passive courses actually complete and implement what they learn. literally 2%. And when you work with a coach, like when you're working with me who checks in with you regularly, you have weekly live coaching calls. And when you have a large investment, because that gets you to do the work, you're like, dude, I spent all this money. I cannot just waste it. It gets you to do the work. The success rate goes up to 95%. You can make these changes. I can help you do that. If you want my help, book a consultation call. The link is in the show notes. I want to remind you, you're not a failure. You're just a mom who's struggling and needs some support. Give yourself grace. Say yes to yourself this season. Get resourceful. Instead of saying, I don't have the money for this, reframe that question. How can I get the money for this program? What if this is the best thing that will ever happen to me and my children? Reframe your mindset. I'm here to support you. Until next time, my friend. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.